All right, and we are back here sitting ready for the women's Varsity 8 grand final. The lineup there on your screen from right to left in lane 1 is LaSalle. Lane 2 is Embry-Riddle. Lane 3 is Georgetown. Lane 4 is Drexel. Lane 5 is Fordham. And in lane 6 is Loyola, Maryland. So a little bit of context on this race. Obviously, Georgetown in lane 3, they had the fastest time in qualifying. That put them, actually, they did not have the fastest time in qualifying. That was Fordham. Fordham had the fastest time in qualifying, but Georgetown actually came out in the semifinal and beat them by a solid 5 seconds. And then in that second semifinal, we saw Drexel, who had the second fastest time in qualifying, win by a solid 10-second margin. So Drexel, Georgetown, Fordham appear to be your favorites in this event, but again, anything can happen in a 2,000-meter race. That's why we line them up and send them down the river. Looks like lane 2 continuing to kind of get that adjustment. I wonder if these boats aren't just getting their points pushed a little bit to that port side. We're seeing a lot of over adjustments here, maybe in anticipation that it might take some time to get the race started and they could drift back to that port side.
Right, you took the words right out of my mouth there. We don't know what the starting official has actually told them. Obviously, we can't hear the instructions, the polls, the flags, or what they are telling these crews, but you are definitely right. There are a few overcorrections here, which look to kind of be the opposite way. Again, we are not down in where all the action is happening, but lane 2, I think you are right. Embry-Riddle is overcorrecting, actually not pointed straight, but again, we don't know exactly how many minutes they have left, and that would be 0. Because
yeah, and
here
they're underway here. So an interesting tactic there from Embry-Riddle, quickly straightening out though, and maybe overcorrecting there as well. So a tough start there for Embry-Riddle, who kind of seem to have done that to themselves, unfortunately.
That was a very interesting move, too. Made me just a little bit nervous as a coxswain there, watching their bow not be pointed directly down that line. But it is great here to see all 6 boats across, without incident so far. We will see when they get through the breakage point. But right now, we are looking at Loyola, Maryland, I believe.
I believe it's Loyola, Maryland there with the bow number 6.
Here we go. Another one popping right in front of our screen. My mistake indeed, everyone.
Yeah, Fordham there with that bow marker 5. Again, Fordham, one of the favorites in this race. They had the fastest time in the time trials yesterday, but actually lost their semifinal by a few seconds to Georgetown. And then, of course, there's Drexel. The boogeyman in lane 4 there. The Drexel Dragons just coming to win everything they can, and at the moment, from what we can see here through 500 meters, it looks like we're going to have to give the edge to Drexel.
Exactly, yes, and we have that Fordham coxswain looking over at that Drexel coxswain. You know that they are definitely on the hunt, smelling blood in the water, and it is Drexel's race to lose here. And right now, looking very clean, very strong at the 500-meter mark. Drexel is our clear leader. However, we cannot discount Fordham, who is keeping a very close eye on Drexel here, as well as Embry-Riddle, who has gotten back into the center of their lane. Georgetown, too, only a few seats down from Embry-Riddle. So, again, we cannot count anybody out at this point.
Yeah, just about 600 meters into this one, Drexel looking really strong. Let's call it Drexel, followed by Embry-Riddle. Then a tie between Georgetown and Fordham for 3rd place, and then maybe just a few seats back there, LaSalle in lane 1, and out there off the pace at the moment, Loyola, Maryland in lane 6.
And in this drone shot here, we're looking at Drexel just slicing through that little shimmer on the water there from the drone shot as we move back to the side angle here. Very nice to see. They are crossing our window now across the boathouse, so nearing that 1,000-meter mark. what a race this is turning out to be. I'm wondering if Drexel can maintain this this rate, this pace, this level of fitness all the way through, because Fordham is on the hunt.
Yeah, Embry-Riddle looking really strong too, as is Georgetown. Lane 1 there, LaSalle definitely still in the mix for the medal stand. Drexel, let's see, looks like the bow of Embry-Riddle sitting on that 3 seat of Drexel, so not too much between them. Definitely Embry-Riddle over Georgetown, Georgetown over Fordham, Fordham over LaSalle. But again, those margins start to get thinner and thinner once we get past our 2 leaders here, Drexel and Embry-Riddle.
I want to point out, too, in the sun, you can see it beautifully, the trail in that Embry-Riddle boat. That coxswain is steering very, very straight down that course now, so she has redeemed herself right off that little blip off the starting blocks there, but now they are directly down the course, and boy, are they making a charge.
Yeah, honestly, it would be such a heartbreaking, I'm not even going to say it. Drexel out in front, Embry-Riddle trying to push back to get it close, see if they can't get within striking distance here to win this in the last 300 meters. Georgetown still very much in this race, but Drexel in lane 4 is too strong. Way too strong right now. 750 meters left to go here. It looks like Georgetown has overtaken Embry-Riddle. Fordham now also hot on the Embry-Riddle trail. Let's see, looks like from this angle, let's call it Drexel, Georgetown, Embry-Riddle, Fordham in that order, but not by much. Drexel, though, with about a length lead on Georgetown and Embry-Riddle. Really great row so far from Drexel.
I want to keep an eye on Embry-Riddle here, because we did see Georgetown just make that move, but we don't know if that's a move or if that's a pace change. So we could see Georgetown kind of settle back into that race pace, and if we see a counter move by Embry-Riddle, we aren't sure. So again, it's looking like Georgetown's move has actually helped them in this case. They are overlapping decks now with Drexel. I'm not sure that we have enough water to actually make that up. But I also want to keep an eye on Fordham on the other side of Drexel, who has now come in front of Embry-Riddle and is now challenging, if not walking through Georgetown.
Yeah, you see that Georgetown boat, though, starting to kind of poke that bow ball further and further closer up that Drexel boat. You can kind of see Drexel and Georgetown kind of playing a bit of a game here with this camera as we enter the final 500 meters of the Evelyn Bergman Trophy here at the 85th Annual Jefferson Dad Vail Regatta. It's Drexel, Georgetown, Fordham, Embry-Riddle going for the gold medal in that order.
That's right. It is Drexel's race to lose. The Dragons have a lot of pride on the line on the men's and women's side. You better believe that they are going for the sweep here. They are really trying to get their bow across the line first. You can see that bow seat. She is excited. She's like, I know that I am the first woman here up at the starting line. Nearest the starting line, it is mine to lose, and I love it when that front wheel drive kicks in. But we would be amiss not to bring up the Fordham and Georgetown race going on behind them.
And here's our finish line camera now. Drexel trying to hang on. Georgetown really jacking up the rate here. It looks like Georgetown into second place at the moment. It's Drexel out in front. Georgetown pushing. Embry-Riddle trying to make a final mad dash for the medal stand. Fordham on the outside. Fordham making a push late. Here they come. Final few strokes. Drexel trying to take on all comers. Look at the fans as they rise up and scream for their teams. Final few strokes here in the women's Varsity 8 final for the Evelyn Bergman Trophy.
Drexel at a 40 and still charging.
And here it is, the final few strokes. Has Fordham overtaken Georgetown? We'll see here as they cross the finish line. For gold, it is. As they come to the line, Drexel will take it. Fordham currently in second place. Georgetown with one last chance. And it's going to be Fordham for the silver, Georgetown the bronze. It's close. It's close. We'll look at the official results. I think it might be 0.3 of a second there.
I was going to say that's tenths of a second at most. What a small margin there. Hard to even tell on our camera. Clearly, we were at a loss for words, holding our breaths, trying to see who was going to cross the line. And look at this again, unofficially, Joe. What do we have here?
Yeah, it's Drexel out in front for the gold, and then Fordham by 0.2 of a second over Georgetown. Fordham with the faster time at the moment. Again, please go to dadville.org.